President Joe Biden issued an emergency statement for Mississippi early Sunday, providing federal funding to Carroll, Humphreys, Monroe, and Sharkey counties, areas hardest hit by a LY hurricane that swept through one of the world's poorest areas, Mississippi Delta, on Friday night. CBS News confirmed that at least 26 people died in Mississippi and Alabama. Dozens of people were injured. On Sunday, search rescue teams resumed the daunting task digging through the wreckage of flattened and battered homes, commercial buildings, municipal offices after hundreds of people were displaced. There are no strangers in such disasters comes together, everybody is a neighbor, is family, Majorca said on Sunday. They can't do it alone, and the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA will be here for as long as it takes. The entire federal family is here to support these communities. A man sits amidst a series of powerful storms and damage from at least one hurricane at Rolling Fork, Mississippi, on March 25, 2023. Will Newton, FEMA, is here. We remain committed to the people of Mississippi, Criswell said at a press conference. We'll here for now, there for you next week, we'll here long after these cameras are gone, and sure to assist with all your healing needs, Criswell said. FEMA Coordinating Officer John Boyle was appointed to oversee federal rescue operations. Following Biden's announcement, federal funds could be used for recovery efforts, including temporary housing, home repairs, loans to cover uninsured property losses, and other personal and business programs, the White House said in a statement. The hurricane flattened entire blocks, flattened houses, ripped out a church steeple and knocked down a municipal water tower. The National Weather Service warned of the risk of more severe weather, including strong winds, large hail and possible hurricanes, in eastern Louisiana, south-central Mississippi and south-central Alabama on Sunday, even as the recovery is just beginning. March 26th risk of severe thunderstorms increasing in parts of Lamsell today. Several rounds of storms are expected. Very large hail, several tornadoes and damaging winds are possible. Pic.Twitter 604HN66SSF, NWS Storm Prediction Center March 26, 2023. The National Weather Service office in Jackson tweeted late Saturday, based on early data, the hurricane received a preliminary EF 4 rating. According to the service, the highest winds of an EF 4 tornado are between 166 miles per hour and 200 miles per hour. The Jackson office warned it was still collecting information about the hurricane. The hurricane devastated the 2,000-strong town of Rolling Fork, killing 13 people, turning homes into piles of rubble, overturning cars and toppling the town's water tower. Other parts of the Deep South were scraping from damage caused by other suspected hurricanes. The Sheriff's Department said in a tweet that one person died in Morgan County, Alabama. Pope Francis offered a special prayer for the people of Mississippi hit by a devastating hurricane during the weekly noon consecration Sunday overlooking St. Peter's Square in Vatican City. "I don't know how anyone survived," said Rodney Porter, who lives 20 miles south of Rolling Fork. When the storm hit on Friday night, he immediately went there to help as best he could. Porter arrived to find complete destruction, and said he smelled natural gas and heard people screaming for help in the dark. "Houses gone, houses are piled on top of each other, their vehicles on them," he said. Instead, leading Sunday Mass, Pastor Greg Proctor was inspecting ruins of the Chapel Cross Church. The hurricane tore a roof of the chapel and shattered bell tower. One of the few surviving things was a new stained glass window honoring the longtime church member. Annette Body traveled to the nearby town of Silver City, which was hit hard by Belozi, to investigate the damage. She said she felt blessed that her own house was not destroyed, but that other people she knew had lost everything. "She cried last night, she cried this morning," she said, looking straight at the houses. "They said you had to take cover, but it happened so fast that a lot of people didn't even get a chance to take cover." Storm survivors marched on Saturday, many of them dazed and shocked, searching for survivors, slicing densely piled debris in fallen trees with chainsaws. Power lines were uprooted and anchored under decades-old oaks. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves declared a state of emergency promised to help rebuild it, seeing the damage in an area filled with vast cotton, corn, and soybean fields, catfish breeding ponds. He met with Biden, who also met with the state's congressional delegation. More than half a dozen shelters have been opened to accommodate the displaced in Mississippi. Lance Perilloux, a meteorologist with National Weather Service's Jackson, Mississippi office, said preliminary information based on forecasts from storm reports and radar data showed the hurricane had been on ground for over an hour and had traveled at least 170 miles. "It's rare, very, very rare," he said, tying the long path to widespread atmospheric instability. Perilloux said preliminary findings indicate that the hurricane began its path destruction just southwest of Rolling Fork, then continued northeast into the rural community's Midnight Silver City, and then into Chula, Black Hawk, Winona. Brian Squitieri, a severe storm forecaster at Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, said the supercell that produced LY hurricane also produced tornadoes that caused damage in northwest and north-central Alabama.